Welcome back, everybody. Today is day 4 of Seven Figure Seller Summit, and we're going to be talking about one of the most important topics for your business today: profitability, how to keep more money in your pocket. Okay, so I'm very excited for our live Q&A. We have several special guests, speakers from the summit earlier today. We have Zen Chen. How's it going, Zen?
Doing
Welcome,
good.
welcome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Excellent. And we also have Chelsea Cohen from SoStock. Welcome, Chelsea. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Excellent. And also we have Yoni Mazur from Getida. Welcome, Yoni. How are you?
Good. Nice to see you, everybody.
Excellent. And then we also have Norm Farrar, the beard guy in the house. Welcome, Norm.
How are you?
Good, good. Welcome. And last but not least, we have Don Hennick from Agrumi. How are you, Don?
I'm doing great. I'm trying to catch up to Norm.
I don't think I can ever catch up to Norm in my lifetime, but doing our best here. So today, super excited to have everybody live Q&A talking about profitability, and this will be a very valuable time that you guys can ask questions about your business, whether it's sourcing, whether it's logistics, dealing with the high shipping rates, cash flow funding, reimbursements, how to get your money back from Amazon, sourcing from China. We have a lot of really awesome speakers, and now's your time. It's almost like, sitting down for coffee with like a seven-figure seller. And I mean, like, how cool is that, right? So before we begin, because this is live, can you please type your name and where you're watching from in the chat? I think some people may be coming in late, so we'll give them a minute to come on from there. Meanwhile, I'd like to highlight today's schedule just to make sure everybody knows what everyone is talking about here. So I'm going to share my screen. And there we go. All right, can you guys see this okay? Thumbs up. Yep, awesome. Yeah. Okay, so today is all about profitability. So we started out with Norm Farrar, how to save money when sourcing in China. Norm, do you want to just give us like a quick recap? Why should people check out your session if they haven't seen it yet?
Sure. So there's a lot of different ways. Well, first of all, everybody thinks that they can just go to Alibaba and source from China. That's not the best way to do it. The best way is just a couple of tips. You can use you can get rid of the US dollar, and there's ways of doing that, and pay in RMB. That'll save you some money right off the bat, anywhere from 5 to 8%. Just working with your logistics company and making arrangements with the freight forwarder and not letting your manufacturer do FOB, you can save some money there. There's all sorts of little tips that you can save. And I think I provided about 10 tips that could probably save you 30, 40% on your cost of goods. And I want to just state that it's not just me saying this, but people in the industry. Where you put the biggest profit in your jeans is when you save it on sourcing. So in this session that I have, I tell you just a variety of different ways that even people in the business for 10 years don't know about.
100%. And I've been working in sourcing and supply chain for many years when I was based in China for over a decade, actually. And in the supply chain world, they say the money is made in the purchasing, not just the selling. So think about that. If you can save some money on your product cost or on your shipping cost, ways to optimize this, you can compound that.
Yeah, I think, Gary, on one of the tips, which was the HTS codes and checking that out, just the example that we use, which was a case study, the company saved $15,000 just in just simply reviewing their HTS codes.
Yeah. I mean, that's like, and that's over the lifetime as well. So every additional order, as long as we're in this whole like trade war, that's going to save you even more. So I highly recommend you guys check out Norm's session. If you have any questions sourcing from China, I mean, like I would say most sellers are still sourcing from China. Now is your chance. I mean, Norm is very experienced when it comes to that. All right, so awesome, Norm. And after that, Mr. Zen Chen, he revealed he's a 7-figure seller based in Colorado. He revealed his logistics model. It's very unique. Do you want to talk a little bit about what you shared with us today at the summit, Zen?
Sure. I talked about how I run my logistic and operation for my store, where instead of like most other sellers, they do FOB to states, Los Angeles, and then unpack things from Los Angeles to Amazon warehouse. What I did was kind of opposite. I put everything in my warehouse in China, and then I ship directly to FBA warehouses. That way, because of the cost difference between the trucking company in States versus the trucking company in China, you can save a lot of money drastically, especially these days because of the bottleneck caused by the freight forwarders and the trucking companies. And not only you save time, not only you save money, you're also saving time buying that model. So, that model will probably save you a lot of money, 30-40%. So
Awesome.
Take a look and let me know if you have any questions I can help.
Yeah, I think everybody knows we're in the middle of this whole like e-commerce perfect storm, as I like to call it. So on one hand, fourth quarter is right around the corner. It's winning time in e-com, right? But at the same time, this year, things are totally different. We have all of these logistics challenges. We have the high shipping rates. We're seeing over $20,000 to ship a container from China, the port of Shanghai, to Los Angeles. And also the Amazon inventory restrictions. So Zen's model is very different. It's almost like turning the whole thing upside down. He doesn't use 3PLs in the States. He uses 3PLs in China. And there's a lot of cool stuff that he's able to do to optimize his supply chain to save money. So I think it was really fascinating. If you guys have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. Let's just get this started right now. And also everybody else on the panel, I mean, if you have questions for the other speakers, feel free.
I do. If I may, if I have a question for Zen. So you're saying Zen reversed the model, but I'm not sure I exactly understand the components of how. So maybe I got this right, maybe wrong. So let me tell you what I understand so far. So you do sourcing in China, you do a production, maybe create a batch. Instead of sending the whole thing to FBA or to another 3PL in the States, you keep it in China in a 3PL, and they drip it into FBA, and then that's kind of the model?
Yeah, that's the very high level. That's the model. I also have some algorithm to optimize the number of packages I send to FBA.
Right, and it's mostly air when you ship it, or is it more containers typically? And if it's containers, and we know all the price cost, any way around it, any pain relief on this?
Pardon me, could you repeat?
I'm saying, so where you mostly ship air or you ship containers? And if you do containers, if you ship containers, any ways to go around all the price cost increase? Any remedy for that?
I do not ship by containers. I have a variety of product lines. I ship by cartons mostly.
Cartons means air, right?
Mass MCs. And
so you're shipping by LTL by sea, Zen, is that right?
Yeah, LTL by sea.
I got it. So now it's containers, LTL by sea, and is there any way
it's
to
not
get
containers? They're
LCL is not container.
Yeah,
it's a
LCL,
smaller, less than truckload.
Yeah, but they bundle into containers anyways, right? By sea.
Someone does that, right?
Yeah, it's not you. It's not on you. Yeah.
Exactly.
Got it. So you're saying is that this kind of setup can really dramatically lower the cost, and so they can help to offset at least with the rising cost of shipping.
Yes.
Got it. Okay, good to know. I never heard about that. Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Yoni, when you get a chance, please check out Zen's session. He goes really deep.
You got it.
This.
Yeah, I think it's valuable these days. Yeah.
Yeah, and everyone else. I mean, I think it's totally different from what everyone else is doing. So,
yeah, I'm definitely going to check that out. Yoni had all the same questions I had, so thanks, Yoni.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
That was great.
Feel free to shoot me an email. You need to have have any questions.
A personal session, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So Zen had a very interesting session. I mean, like if other 7-figure sellers and e-com experts want to learn more, I think that is that's a light bulb moment, guys. Definitely check out Zen's session because not many people are doing this model. And we also have Sophie Howard. She really showed how to deal with slow moving inventory and cut your long-term storage fees, and also to boost your IPI score. So it's kind of like this way you can free up more Amazon inventory storage. So definitely check out Sophie's session. She may be joining us a little later. She's in New Zealand. She has another meeting that she's coming out of right now. And we also have Chelsea Cohen from SoStock. So Chelsea SoStock is kind of like, she's like a secret weapon, I think, for a lot of 7-figure sellers. As I was talking to them, I kept hearing SoStock. So I'm like, I gotta bring on Chelsea. So she was like a last minute addition to 7-Figure Seller Summit. Chelsea, can you tell us what did you teach us today at the event?
Yeah, so I talked about inventory management systems. There are specific things that you need to have in place in your business, and over the past 2 years that we've been, running SoStock, I've found specific things that a lot of Amazon sellers don't have in place. So, first we talked about the foundation of laying those systems down to avoid stockouts, because you have 7 and 8 figure sellers that we were working with that were continually stocking out because they didn't have these particular functions. They didn't have coordination with their teams, etc. And then I went into the new guidelines that we instruct our users, our Amazon sellers, to follow, specifically regarding restock limits. What are those things to do to avoid stocking out? What happens when you do stock out? What should you be doing? And what is the golden rule that we advise to avoid stocking out? Like there's certain things that Amazon sellers have bad habits on that cause them to stock out. And so we talked about all of those things. And then after the presentation, when we were getting into some of the Q&A, talked about a specific hack that's working for some sellers to increase their restock limit, something that a lot of sellers don't know about. And it, again, it doesn't work for all sellers, but it's something that we have found some sellers to be able to actually get Amazon to increase their limits.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, everyone's dealing with this limit now, and there's other ways that we're seeing that's working right now. So definitely check out Chelsea's session. And I think inventory management, that's like the way to avoid the number one, like the cardinal sin for sellers running out of stock. So if you guys have any questions about inventory management, how much to order, how not to over order, how to deal with drip feeding your stock into the Amazon FBA warehouses, definitely drop them in the chat. All right.
I have a question for Chelsea, if I may.
Yes, please, Yoni.
Chelsea, so regarding the ASIN, FBA limitations, MCF, multi-channel fulfillment.
Yes.
Can you share with us a little bit what's going on with that?
Yeah. So we know a little bit about that, and I'm working on potentially getting an inside person in the MCF team. But what's happening is that the MCF, even though Amazon's telling us that they don't have room for our inventory, at the same time, they're wanting us to use multi-channel fulfillment and fulfill outside channels. So it's kind of contradictory, but in my view, it's something that is basically a data grab. If they can know how much inventory their competitors are moving, Shopify, eBay, some of these other competitors, if they have that data, they can be more competitive and they can know exactly what they're up against. So the MCF program is actually, they're working to get people to come into the MCF program. So it's contradictory, but they want to have people using multi-channel fulfillment for their other channels. So they're actually awarding people additional restock limits based on based on projections of how much a seller might be able to add in terms of MCF inventory.
What if you do you want to start doing it?
Mm-hmm.
So you need some history on this. I guess I'll rephrase it. If you have history on this, there's room for for them to open it up for you, so you can actually expand your storage limit. But what if you don't have any history?
Mm-hmm. That is something that we're not sure exactly who is getting approved. There have been sellers that have gotten approved and have gotten increases, and there have been sellers that haven't heard anything back. So it might be, it's potentially having past history is something that may be a factor, but I would suggest that anyone contact, and again, there's an email address that I share in my session. I would suggest anyone to contact the MCF team and request. Basically what they're asking for is they're asking for projections for MCF and FBA. So my suggestion is that when you provide your projections, you provide your projections for FBA as well. You're going to then have to prove those projections actually will come to fruition. But I know that there's a lot of people who are holding back on marketing because they don't have enough room to get inventory in to really drive sales. So my suggestion for people is that they can get approved through the MCF team to really also drive FBA sales, because that will allow them in the next quarter additional inventory.
Right. So what I'm saying from you is that the ones who have history, they can work with it. The ones who don't, they can apply, and nobody got a definite no, meaning they're not going to expand your limit. So this is definitely seems like a path into breaking in and opening an opportunity to be able to ship more into FBA. So it's interesting.
Yes, potentially. It's not working for everybody, but some people will email in and then a couple of days later they'll get an increase, and some people have found that they haven't gotten a reply back. So it isn't it's like on a case by case basis, but we have seen multiple people after I posted about it. There were several sellers who contacted me and said, yes, I did this and it did happen. And
you mind dropping the email here on the chat?
Yeah, I can do that. I want to be sure to grab it. But yeah, it's something that the email is for US, but we did see that there were people who submitted in the UK that basically changed from .com to .co.uk and didn't get a reply back, but did see an increase. One of the sellers saw a 50% increase in stock after sending the email.
That's amazing. Wow. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it's been the only thing that we've found to actually work. And again, not everybody, but we've seen other people try to submit cases, and there seems to be a process on Amazon side, but everyone says no. They say, here's the process, here's what we need, and then you submit it, you waste your time and submit it, and they still say no. So this has been the only thing where we've seen it stick. And we actually, it was discovered because one of the sellers had a doubling. They woke up to a doubling and an email from the MCF team explaining why and explaining the process.
Pretty cool. Okay, that's why community is important in this space. Yeah.
Yeah, Chelsea. So from what you're saying, that seems like Amazon is encouraging the MCF for long term.
Yes. Yeah.
So what is their strategic thinking on that front end? Is that for their warehousing business or for some other business? What is the rationale behind it?
My opinion is that they're trying to gather data on how on their competitors, because once you plug into and you show that your sales, say for Shopify, they want to know how much people are moving through Shopify. So if you plug your store into Shopify, then they can gather that data. So I think that it's basically a data grab, because they're saying they don't have enough room, but at the same time they want you to plug in your MCF stuff. So I think it has something to do with the information.
And on a side note, I think also they charge you more fees when they fulfillment. If you have an Amazon order come in FBA, they charge you less than what they charge you with MCF. Meaning MCF, when they ship fulfillment order, they charge a premium. So they're able to grab your data, which is huge for them. They know what to do with data, that's for sure, but also charge you a financial upside. So I guess
and customer data as well. You know, they've got
part of it.
Shipping data. Yeah, and the shipping data, and then they're sending boxes that, you know, from Shopify, sending boxes that are branded with Amazon, which is exactly why Walmart doesn't allow sellers to send via Amazon MCF.
Got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, that's a huge tip, guys. And I think that it could be the 80-20 of today, or even the whole summit, and how to possibly double.
Yeah, if you ship more to FBA, you sell more, you profit more. That's a gold rush. That's good.
Yeah,
Gary, I think you can stop right now.
Drop the mic. Drop the mic.
Chelsea just dropped the mic. Awesome,
I'm working on grabbing the email for you guys.
Excellent. Well, let's keep going. Meanwhile, as we do that, thank you, Chelsea, for dropping that huge value bomb. And I see that, you know, are the other sellers that on the panel, you know, they're getting value out of this. So guys, everybody watching, feel free to ask questions. You know, I really want to make this as interactive as we can for everyone. And also, I always encourage you guys, sharing is caring, right? So if you have a friend or you know someone else that's in it, that's selling on Amazon, maybe they haven't heard of our event yet, you know, why not share this URL with them so they can join in on the conversation as well. All right. So that's really my goal, to help as many sellers as I can to really come out on top and to build and grow their businesses. All right. So thank you for that. And going back to our calendar, I definitely don't want to stop now, because we have some amazing, amazing speakers. And next we have Yoni. Yoni, can you share, what did you teach us today on the summit?
Got it. So, you know, as everybody can see, just getting your product into the game and making sales, that's a challenge of its own. And it's great. That actually creates the business. But what happens is, once you generate the sales, there's still opportunity to be able to make more money, and even more importantly than that, make more profit. And the way to do it is, especially if you're using FBA, is audit all your transactions. You know, all your FBA transactions. Amazon allows to go back up to 18 months on your transactions and audit them. And any discrepancies that are found, so if any of your inventory gets lost, damaged, destroyed, disappeared, disposed, overcharged with fees, you'll be able to open cases with them, and they're gonna, you know, financially reimburse you for all these issues. And all this newly found money that you recovered, you'll get flushed back into your organization, and you help your profitability, and hopefully help you to offset new costs, you know, the shipping costs, or invest, or, you know, maybe help you offset capital charges if you're taking debt, right? Or if you have new partners you want to share the profit with. So, you know, money is like fluid. It's water. It's so having better, you know, fluid and better water and better money in your pocket is very, very empowering. So in this presentation, what I did was actually I touched the fundamentals of how to audit your account. So any seller can watch it and start taking action on their own. And this is a guarantee. If you do some of the steps that I showed over there, take action, you're going to get rewarded. You're going to get a reimbursement, and it's going to help you out. So take this money, reinvest it in the business, and keep on growing. That's kind of in a nutshell the idea behind the presentation, giving the fundamentals so sellers can take action, and rock and roll from there.
Excellent. And also, yeah, I feel like, you know, it's like that saying, whatever gets measured gets managed, right? Peter Drucker. So in terms of all of your Amazon fees, all of your potential reimbursements, a lot of sellers I know, and I've been guilty of this as well, you know, we're just so busy on growing the business, we just like overlook a lot of all the nitty gritty, right? So, you know, you could potentially be leaving a lot of money on the table in Amazon reimbursements, and when Amazon damages your products, when they lose your products in the warehouse. I mean, you really have to step up and open a case with them. So, you know, Yoni and Getita, meanwhile, I'd like to offer a quick shout out and thank you for sponsoring the summit. Getita, you guys have been an ongoing sponsor with your support. And more importantly, you're helping a lot of sellers get their money back through reimbursements. So Getita has offered a special bonus for everybody watching the summit. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that, Yoni?
Yes. So just to construct this a bit more, use the presentation, and we do encourage you as a company and as a solution provider, do the maximum you can do on your own to get everything that you owed. Do it, and then whatever you're missing out, we're going to be able to basically catch and bring it back to your organization. Okay, so that's a guarantee. Now, we're only going to charge you a fee if we're successful doing it. There's no subscription. There's nothing, no payment up front, pure value. If we're able to bring more value that wasn't available to your organization before, only then we're going to get rewarded. So it's free to join Getira and free to stay with Getira. But on top of all that, we're going to give you also a guarantee. We're going to give you $400 to get started. So the first $400 that we're going to get for you in FBI reimbursement, we're not going to charge you a penny. It might take us a day, it might take us a month or a few months. But after you get $400, if you want to leave, that's fine. If you want to stay, that's fine as well. The idea is really to empower you, give you something that wasn't there before. Once you have it back, you'll continue growing. And that's pretty much kind of our pleasure and the service to the sellers community to be able to do that and also support these kind of educational events that, I'll be honest with you, I sit down here to learn more than I actually share and teach. So it's a nice revolving door here, at least for me.
Yeah, I love the win-win. I love the win-win with Getira. You know, you're not paying anything. You're only sharing what they got back for you. That's a great model. I love it.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan.
Excellent. Thank you. And thank you, Yoni. And guys, it's $400 back from up to $400 back in your Amazon reimbursement. So if you haven't done it yet, why not just click on this link, getira.com/7FSS, and let Getira handle it, just get it back for you, right? You don't get charged until after the $400, right? So it's basically, it's like no risk. You have nothing to lose, guys. Come on. All right. So definitely, I highly recommend getira.com/7FSS. Another interesting trait about successful entrepreneurs. So you guys know, I do this as much to learn from all of you guys as much as, putting on the event, right? I feel like common trait is successful entrepreneurs, they never stop learning, right? Because everything changes so quickly. E-com is changing year and year. It's like e-com years are like dog years. Like 1 year in real life is like 7 years in e-com. It's totally different now. So, stuff that, that people share, Norm with the changing sourcing tips, the HS codes, and Zen with his unique model. And Chelsea, she dropped that huge bomb on how to double your Amazon inventory limit. And, Yoni is offering you $400. Come on, guys. This is insane. Come on. Let's keep going. This is awesome. All right.
Hey, one more question though, Gary, before you go on with Yoni.
Yeah.
When somebody comes to you, how far back do you go? So if I'm selling and I give you my account, are you going back 6 months, a year, 5 years? How far back do you go? Because there could be a lot of gold sitting there that I don't even know about.
Right. So Amazon allows up to 18 months to go back, a look back period. So that's kind of a year and a half. High level statistics, we found that the discrepancy rate on an annual basis is between 1 to 3%. So if you do 100,000 a year on FBA on Amazon, that could be maybe 1,000 to 3,000. If you do 1 million, it could be 10 to 30,000, and on it goes. So yeah, just it's like walking on a beach with a metal detector and finding coins from the Roman Empire that's just sitting there from way before. You never expected to have it. And not only can we find it through our technology, we'll also have the muscle that will open up the earth and grab out the coins, put it back in your pocket, and only if we're successful we're gonna get rewarded. Plus the first $400 worth of coins, that's on us.
Beautiful.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. I'd like to welcome a couple guests in our audience today. Welcome Andy here from Detroit. And also Tim says, Akrumi is awesome. Glad to see Don here. So welcome guys.
Love it.
So, yeah. Great. So guys, any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat. I want to make this interactive for you guys. All right. So let's go back to the calendar. After Yoni today at 4 p.m., we had Tyler Jeffcoat. He's known as the seller accountant. He works with a number of 7- and 8-figure e-com sellers. So he really taught the new profit model for e-com businesses to max their valuation. So this year, with the additional the fees on the shipping side and all the inventory restrictions, the increased raw material costs, he really gave us kind of like a bird's eye view because he works with so many sellers of the different things, sellers are doing right in terms of profitability. Highly recommend you guys check that out. Also, he really focuses on profitability after advertising. I think that's something a lot of people overlook because advertising and marketing fees can add up. So Tyler couldn't join us today, but highly recommend that you don't miss his session. It's available for 24 hours if you haven't upgraded to the All Access Pass yet. All right. And then to round out the day, we have Don Hennett, funding for Amazon sellers. Can you share a little bit about what you taught us today, Don?
Sure. Well, we had some fun. First off, let me just say thank you to Tim for the shout out there. Tim was one of our very, very, very first sellers that we worked with, and we just, fantastic guy and a great business, and just appreciate it. So that's great. So what we talked about was growth. The way you look at business is that, once you figure out your profit model and that you're making money, grow the hell out of your business. Grow it as fast as you can, as big as you can, and just keep that profit going. And then tweak it and tweak it and tweak it as you grow to get it better and better and better. Add other legs to the stool as far as, other revenue sources and things like that. And you'll figure out your business as you go. But once you know that you can make money, then get the money to grow. And what we've done is created a completely unique, something that has never been done before, funding model, where we'll provide the sellers with capital. We'll double their capital with no interest. We don't require monthly payments. There's no requirement for payments, no personal guarantee, none of that. And we set it up in a similar way to what Yoni was saying, is that we only make money when the seller makes money. So we take a percentage of profit for as long as the seller uses our money. They could use it for a month or 5 years. Doesn't matter what it is. We have plenty of sellers who have been with us for 18 months or more that have not made a single payment. And then all of a sudden, we've seen, like this one seller, our very first account, no payments for 18 months. And then in the 19th month, they sent us $2,000. Then they sent us $3,000. Then they sent us $10,000. Like, amazing. But the idea was that they used the money to grow the hell out of their business when they had the opportunities to grow. So their business literally took off, and then they were flush with cash. And they're still clients of ours, although they're flush with cash. And I think they're just staying on because they're going to need money for Q4. And when they come back and they say, hey, we need another $20,000 or $50,000, it'll be in their account literally within the hour. There's no work that needs to be done. So it's just an exciting way. And what my presentation, we did mainly, we talked about case studies. Just took about maybe 6 or 10 different sellers that we work with. And it's easy because it's happened in pretty much every situation where their business just exploded, because when they had the opportunities to grow, they just grew and grew and grew. And when they were flush with cash, they pay us down, and our profit percentage drops as a result. Again, we only make money when they make money. If they don't make any money, we make zero. Nothing else like it. So that's it.
Yeah. So basically, there's minimal risk for the seller, right?
We made it no risk.
Yeah. No, there's no risk.
There's only one way. There is one risk. So if they take our money and they leave it in the bank, so if they're not deploying that money to make money, then they're paying us for no reason. That's the risk. Don't do that. And we tell everybody.
Yeah, definitely. Cash flow and you got to put that money to good use, right? It's like the parable of the tenants, right? You don't want to just like sit on the money. You want to invest that money to get that return. So
exactly. Make your gold, and then make your gold make gold.
Exactly. So talking about cash flow funding, I know this is a big pain point for a lot of sellers. I'm just curious, Zen or Norm or Chelsea, what are you guys doing with your cash flow and funding? Do you have any insights to share, or maybe this is a big problem? I'd love to learn more, as we're here live with the other guests.
Yeah, I think Don, you guys found a very niche model. Based on my experience, how I grew from last 5 years, put down $50,000, it can grow into multi-million quickly. Yes. Then you can make a lot of profit. I can see the model.
Right.
It will work. Yes.
Oh, it works. It's we went into it. I have a saying in business called "Start stupid." And, it's meaning that, if you knew everything that you know today, you would never do that business because it's too complicated. There's too many obstacles. Yeah. But as you started, you got in and you figured it out as you went.
Yes.
So, I think you'd appreciate when we started this business, we didn't have any technology. We had nothing. We took a couple $100,000 of our own and we gave it out to sellers. We didn't know if we were going to ever get paid back. And turns out that the model, our theory really worked.
Yes.
Every seller we worked with just absolutely raves about us.
Exactly. Based on my experience, your model will work for sure.
Oh my God, yeah.
I will certainly vouch for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, raise your hand if you started your business and you felt, not looking back, you saw that you started in a stupid way. There you go.
Every one of them.
There you go.
Yeah. But the important thing is we got started, right? We didn't just get stuck in analysis paralysis.
Action. That's what you call it.
That's exactly right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Jump in.
Right.
Okay, Chelsea, no, what's your money situation? That was, Zen already gave it to us. What's your money situation?
Cash flow. I mean, one of the things that we are doing, we've done, and that we've seen others do, and this is not something that will, sustain and will last, I think, forever. But it's kind of changing your terms, your payment terms with your suppliers. So like we'll produce more inventory and we'll pay the 30% down, and then we'll ship more. We won't ship everything necessarily. We'll ship, a portion of it, and we'll only have to pay for the portion that we ship. So, you're producing more, and that becomes important because you need to be more flexible. And then our supplier will store that inventory for us, and they won't charge us. Or you can find a location in China that will, be a lot less than, say, a local 3PL, and then we'll pay the other 70% of the inventory that we ship. So that helps to control our cash flow, make our cash more available, and then also allow us to have enough inventory so that we're not waiting for, there's been a lot of inventory delays. There's been a lot of supplier lead times that have been increasing. So producing more helps us to have more available, to be more flexible for shipping inventory into FBA.
So Chelsea, when you say we, it means you sell. You're not.
Yes, I do still sell. Yes.
Oh God. Okay, good. I'm like, okay, I don't know if it was agency type or you yourself or just a community approach, and it's like a fourth body.
Yeah, we do. That's an approach we take, and we've seen others take it as well.
Got it.
I paid my Amazon tax. I made the worst decision. First of all, and this goes for this event, I didn't know enough about Amazon. I didn't know enough about the fees. I learned the hard way. I financed with a credit card, and I financed with 3 or 4 credit cards. And what I was finding out is the product took off, but I had to capitalize it. And I had to buy more inventory. And what ended up happening is I couldn't pay off the credit cards because I was investing it into inventory. Now I did solve it, but one of the things that I did learn right off the top is that you have to know, first of all, if you have a home run, you better be prepared to finance it. You better be prepared to have the proper capital. If you're running it on a shoestring or selling scared, just like the stock market, it's the wrong way to get into it. Now, my model on this is completely different right now, but at the beginning, I paid my Amazon tax.
Yeah, that's a way. That's another way that people run out of inventory, is that they don't have enough to fund their inventory, so they wait till the last second, and they'll continue to wait and wait and wait. Even though they know that they should order earlier, they try to push it. And, we've seen a lot of that with sellers starting out. So, having some way of getting funding for things like fourth quarter or just simply, growth becomes very important, just based on the fact that a lot of stock outs early on in business come from just people procrastinating due to lack of cash flow.
Yeah, I mean, inventory management is so important. One factor of the whole thing is the financials. You got to have the money to buy inventory, and then you manage that. Right? Without money, you cannot even have an inventory.
Yeah,
so it's hand to hand between Don and you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk about marketing, but the other parts of that cycle, there's marketing, inventory, and cash flow.
Yeah.
And those teams all need to work together. And quite often there's so much focus on the marketing side of things that a marketing team will stock the inventory team out and then cause problems for cash flow.
Right, those three things, right, you're right.
One of the things that would help too, like to loosen up the cash flow, my first product was an American-made product, but I have a bunch of Chinese products that I was manufacturing. And one of the things we were able to do when we went to China, we were able to negotiate way better terms. So we were paying 30/70. And now I think, Chelsea, I was telling you about the way that we do it, is that we're paying but we're getting, we've created this perpetual system where we pay if we needed 1,000 units before. Okay, so 500 would go to our 3PL, 500 would go to Amazon, and then we would reorder once we would transfer from our 3PL over to Amazon. Well, we went back to this manufacturer and we said, could you double that order, have it in inventory? We'll pay a down payment. Sometimes it was free, by the way. We pay a down payment, and so we only put 10 or 20% down. And the terms we got on top of that ranged from 30 days upon delivery to 90 days. So I have one of my most expensive products. We have 90-day terms with the product back in China. So what happens is now if I have to go and that Amazon triggers our 3PL goes over to Amazon, we hit the manufacturer up. We don't have to worry about inventory ever.
Yeah.
Sounds like a pull system of some kind.
Yeah, it's a great system. The issue is talking to your manufacturer and making sure that they understand that you're taking these dollars that should go to them and putting it into marketing so you can order more for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not be a home run. Like, if you can have a smaller grouping, let's say you have 500 units in stock over there, and send it 6 times rather than 2 times a year, you're definitely going to loosen up on cash. And that's going to help with your cash flow as well.
Got it. While we're talking about China and the factories, just I was wondering, because I'm out of the retail game. So I know the shipping costs are rising, but what about the cost of manufacturing? Is this up, stable, down? What's the status there for the most part? I know not every product is made equal, but what's the general mood on the street there? Anybody can pick this one up. If no answer, it's okay. Or Gary, this one could be for you.
Lead time is longer. I haven't seen a lot of, I think there's a lot of subsidizing going on right now. I think.
So it's supposed to be more inflated or inflation of actually producing, but you're saying the government is offsetting that so they don't have their own issues.
I'm seeing that on some product, yeah, but I'm not paying anything more than what I was paying last year. I don't know, Chelsea, if you're seeing the same.
I would agree. We're not paying any more, but the lead times are definitely longer for production as well. It's not just shipping, it's production.
Try to get a container. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So you're saying the pen is the price itself hasn't inflated. You're saying it might be some subsidiary behind it with the Chinese government, but the lead time just to produce is longer, and then to ship also longer, and it's 600% higher.
Yeah.
The raw materials depends on the product.
Right.
The raw material price cost has gone up quite significantly.
Yeah.
Especially metals.
Yeah, that might be the what they're subsidizing, the government, meaning the materials are up, so the factory should be increasing their price for you to produce, but the government is offsetting. Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure exactly. I'm not sure about subsidiary. I think the manufacturers are eating the cost. in terms of the pricing, raw material price goes up, and also there's a demand on supply and demand thing. Metals, there's a more demand for metals, and there's supply, so the price go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but when you said the factories absorb it, as far as I understand, the factories are all fully or partly owned by the government. That's how they kind of eat that up, right? in a way, just if I might be wrong on this, but
yeah, I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
From my experience, some of the product I sell requires a lot of metal. The price definitely went up. They couldn't possibly eat that themselves.
Yeah, but
I saw the same with one of the kitchen products that I sell. It is made of metal, and the price went up at the start of the year.
Yeah,
and there was no way they can absorb that cost. And,
the other part of this is labor, Chinese labor costs.
Yeah, this has been persistent for many years. I mean,
yes.
China 2021 is not China 2008. When I first went to China.
I have another question. So, the shipping cost gone up, the original cost gone up, the raw material gone up. How is the FBA seller community feeling it? Are they feeling the pressure in terms of profit, and are they feeling the pressure to increase the price? How do you see?
Good question.
Yeah, for sure. And it's not just on that side of things. It's also the frequently shipping in. There's a lot of people who have had to go to 3PLs because they're not able to send inventory into Amazon.
Yeah, right.
3PL costs, and then you also have, when they have to switch to FBM, it's usually less profitable for them as well.
Yes.
So it's not just on the the supply chain side of things. It's towards the end of the supply chain, and then also if they have to go B2C.
One of the things that I've seen, a lot of people, like I've talked to, sellers are running scared right now. And they're, okay, this $20,000 container is going to add X onto my profit.
Yeah.
And then, like you were saying, Chelsea, I have to ship FBM. I'm going to absorb those costs. Well, it's an inventory game right now, but everybody's going to be on the same playing field. The people that have inventory can keep their costs where they are and benefit from it, but everybody's going to have to raise their price, if they want to compete. So if you want to compete for nickels and dimes, go for it. But the play here is to have a better product. And I'm talking, you can have a Me Too product, but package it differently. Make sure that it looks better, have better images, have a better listing. And those are the things that'll get you the extra dollars for your product.
Got it.
Yeah.
But also, let's not forget that at least on the advertising costs, also the rising. It's getting, the landscape is severely more competitive in so many elements. It's a good time to be alive in this space, right?
Exactly. I mean, the cost of PPC, the cost of shipping, unable to send in the product because you have limited storage, right?
Yeah.
Everything. I feel like there might be a lot of sellers are feeling they're not making any money anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm certainly seeing a lot of pressure right now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that might be the bubble. Every inflation needs to burst. So either we're still in the inflation portion of it, or we might be touching the edge of it where it's gonna bust. And it'll be interesting to see, I guess, one of the first busts of e-commerce. Where a lot of sellers get out of the game. The trend and obviously the strong will get stronger. As the environment cleans up, but it's gonna be turbulence, So
it's going to wash out a lot of
zombies, they call it, I guess. The ones that they're dying businesses, but they're still moving around because they're patching it up from here and there. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
Yeah, and this is a great question. I just wanted to weigh in a couple of perspectives from our other speakers from earlier this week that what they're doing. So Cameron Walker's an 8-figure seller in the toy niche, and he said that since the beginning of the year, he really had to basically change everything about his business, like soup to nuts. So he's from freight forwarding. He had a long time freight forwarder. He had to shop around, comparison shop to get a better rate. for 3PLs. He has like 4 containers of product in a 3PL in the States. That 3PL just exploded. It wasn't working for him, so he had to shop around, make phone calls. He had literally had to move like 4 containers of product domestically in the US. In terms of ways to reduce your costs, packaging, it's literally like a game of inches. So he said that the successful sellers, they know like the Amazon, the size tiers, the prices for each tier, it's like the back of their hand. So he's able to optimize his package size like to reduce his cost, the Amazon fees, and that way he has an advantage against the competition. So that's what one of the sellers are doing. And guys, feel free to weigh in if you guys are seeing this as well.
In terms of packaging, units per carton is another side of it. If you're shipping in, SPD, and you have to have those cartons labeled, each label that's put on, and each, you have carton handling fees, you have labor fees. So changing up the units per carton, adding more units per carton will lower the per unit fee, spread across that specific fee, those specific per carton fees.
Yeah, 100%.
We do have a question from Bill when you get a chance, Gary.
Yeah. Let me get to that question. We had some questions coming in. The other thing that I really wanted to highlight, because a lot of people overlook this, it's like, what Abe Lincoln said, right? If he has 6 hours to chop down a tree, he spends 4 hours sharpening his axe, right? Mm-hmm. He wants to make his axe really sharp. The same thing with your listing, right? You really have to optimize your listing, how to make it stand out from your competition, how to make sure you're getting more impressions, how to make sure you're increasing your conversion rate. If you can boost those metrics, it has a compound effect, positive effect on your sales, on your profitability. It can reduce, your A costs as well. Brian Johnson, I highly recommend that you guys check out his session. It was on Tuesday. It is closed now. If you want to upgrade to All Access Pass, Brian Johnson really did a live teardown in a super competitive niche, like how he's able to increase impressions, how to increase conversion rate, get more sales, how to make your listings stand out. So quick aside. All right, I want to get to some questions we have in the chat. We only have a few minutes left, guys. So Bell asked, do we foresee the cost of shipping coming down at any time? Any thoughts, guys?
Silence in the room. Yeah,
I think eventually it's got to. It's my understanding that there are certain ships that at the beginning of COVID were basically removed from use. So you've got more capacity that's now having to be brought back. One of the things that was talked about at the Prosper Show we attended was the fact that about 25% of cartons were temporarily retired during this time. I'm not sure what they thought was going to happen during the pandemic, but they seem to think that the opposite of what actually did happen was going to happen. So you've got, some super cargo freight ships that have been, that are now needing to come back into operation, and you've got a bunch of containers as well. So once those get added, we might see a little bit of a reduction, but I think that it'll be a while.
Yeah.
People are also looking at other places to ship from. So sourcing in India or sourcing in South America, or looking or not internally, but domestically to get away from that. So there's a lot. Like, just think about China. You've got the shipping cost, you got the 25% Trump tariff, plus the HTS cost. You'll take those into consideration. You might be able to find stuff at a possible better price in the U.S. I know we have found that, and you can go elsewhere to find some, like Korea, for example. We've shipped a lot of our new product that we're looking for beauty over to Korea. Korea, it's less shipping from there, and you have a great product.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And from India as well. The container cost shipping from India to New York is only $9,000, according to Marjali, compared to like $20,000.
What's Marjali, by the way?
Margaret Jolly, she and Meghala Bardwaj, they're co-founders of India Sourcing Network.
Oh, talking about Meghala, yeah.
Yeah, Meghala and Marg, they're co-founders.
Yeah, I thought it was when the way you said, I thought it was like a website to track and monitor prices.
Margaret Jolly, her nickname is Marg. So
yeah,
Jolly,
sure. Yeah,
sorry, I said it quickly. Yeah, Margaret. Yeah, shared that.
Yeah, I think this is temporary. I think when we see a lot of pressure now is eating up your profit. Or as seller, I think we should hang out, make sure you can survive, and then I think it will come down. The container is becoming a commodity, right? Commodity can be manipulated somehow. I'm not an insider. I don't know how it's manipulated, but I feel it's manipulated.
Yeah.
So just hang out there, make sure you survive first.
Yeah, possibly removing all those containers and making them less available.
It's not a cost-based.
The freight forwarders, they're the real winners.
Exactly. It's not a cost-based.
Their financial reports, they're like breaking all the records. They're just slapping on like another $4,000, general rate increase surcharge August 1st.
Yeah.
Those guys are crushing it even more than e-com.
Wow. This feels a lot like healthcare industry now to me.
Love that analogy. All right. We just have a few minutes left, guys. We touched upon Mervin's question earlier. What about sourcing options from Mexico, South America? What do you guys think?
I actually just had a conversation with someone who specializes in this this last weekend. Her name is Susana Bermudez. And this is something that she's very passionate about, and she's got a lot of connections into the manufacturing. And the pricing, she says, is good. And then also with the shipping offset, you can truck things in. The lead times are shorter. So this is something that she is working on with a couple of other people. Just that mission to get more of South America and South American manufacturing involved. So they don't have a lot of understanding about the Amazon space, and that's one of the missions of some of these sellers is to just teach them how they can be connected. But they're so close that some of these shipping costs and the lead times can be offset, especially when the lead times factor into restock limits. The amount of time it takes to ship something means that shipping things by air becomes more important in China if you're going to get your inventory in within the restrictions, within the limits. So I think it's definitely something that can be done or should be looked into, especially because of the closeness of the border.
Exactly. Hey, Gary, if I could just chime in on this for a second.
Yes.
We have a number of clients that are sourcing their product from Mexico. And, it's fantastic because their lead times are like 2 weeks. And just as you said, they're, trucking it over. And the cost is low from a standpoint of all of that. When in talking to them, the problems were finding the right manufacturers with the proper quality. Because there are a lot of manufacturers that don't have the quality. So once you do the proper sourcing, and it takes effort, but once you find those manufacturers with the proper quality, you have a home run on your hand. And in my opinion, at some point in time, things may break down between the United States and China. And to have that backup could put you in the catbird seat, could put you in that just unbelievable spot. So, and Chelsea, I would love that person's contact because we run into this all the time. We also use a guy, Patricio Telez, who trains a lot of Amazon sellers to open up their in Mexico and Latin America. And he has introduced us to some manufacturers that have worked out really well. So I would love the contact.
Yes, definitely. Happy to.
I would love those contacts as well.
Sure.
Chelsea,
Me too. We all need a plan B, right?
Yeah. Maybe we can bring them on the next time. Next time we do this.
You want us to email them to you, Gary?
If you could shoot me an email, that would be great. And I'm happy to loop everyone in as well. All right. So we're out of time, guys. I wish we had more time, but you guys know how it is. I'd like to thank all of our speakers for coming on. And what is the best way to connect with you guys for people that want to learn more? Let's start with Zen. What's the best way to connect, please?
I can read. The best way to contact me is via my LinkedIn. I posted my link in the chat window.
Yes,
if you could.
we will put that up on the. Okay, so.
Hey, Zen, is that the proper one? Because I punched that in and it didn't come up.
Oh.
Anything mistyped in it?
That.
Yeah, check if there's a typo. Do we have a small question? I think somebody put, how easy is it to find manufacturing in Mexico, or is it just a kiss to Google?
It's not easy. It takes work.
Okay, just send me, put my email address there then, Gary.
Okay. We'll do.
You can start with Google to see if they're, if they talk to factories, stuff like that, but you maybe consider visiting them or agents, stuff like that, and do the field work and build it up and not just rely on one source, just build a few sources.
Yeah, let me post again. My link, I just tried. This link should work.
There we go.
Okay, Zen Chen, Z-Chen at ICHININC.com.
iChinInc, yeah.
Just do email.
Okay, excellent. And Chelsea, what is the best way to connect?
Yeah, best way to connect with me is at sostock.com/connect. My socials are there, my email, all of that.
Okay, so connect with Sophie at SoStocked. If you need help with inventory management, I know a lot of 7-figure sellers are using SoStocked, so definitely check that out. We also have a special bonus from SoStocked as for our All Access Pass members. You guys will get additional discount off their already very competitive prices. So we thank you for that, Chelsea. And Yoni, what is the best way to connect?
Just visit gatita.com/7FSS, and you can take it from there.
Awesome. So thank you again. And you guys, if you want to get your money back from Amazon, up to $400 in reimbursements, I highly recommend you guys check out that link, gatita.com/7FSS. You guys are just getting money back in your pockets right now, guys. That's why we're doing this. So Norm, what is the best way to connect with you, sir?
Probably if you go to privatelabellegion.com, you can get a hold of me. And more importantly, Lunch with Norm podcast Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time.
Awesome. So privatelabellegion.com, guys. Yep. And he's partnering up with Tim Jordan, one of our good friends, and definitely check that out. And also Lunch with Norm on Wednesdays.
Monday, Wednesday, right? Friday.
Monday, Wednesday. Wow, 3 times a week. Okay, Lunch with Norm.
You gotta need a diet after
lunch. I don't think he has any lunch in between though, so
All right, excellent. And last but not least, Don Hennig. What's the best way to connect?
LinkedIn is great, which you have that. And also my email is simply don@accrueme.com.
All right. We'll put in the LinkedIn for you guys. Connect with Don if you want to get some funding for your business, improve your cash flow, the lifeblood of your business. Definitely talk to Don. And
even if you just want to discuss it, there's no pressure. I'm here to help in any way, so don't worry about it. I'm one of those communicating guys, so don't worry about it. Reach out.
Thank you. Yeah, Don's a great guy. He's a friend of 7-Figure Seller Summit.
Absolutely.
He's been on before, and I know he's helped several sellers out there just like you guys, get more funding to really, to grow your business. So definitely check out AccrueMe and also connect with Don. And finally, I just like to take a moment to mention we do have an all access pass, guys. So maybe if you missed some of our earlier sessions from Monday and Tuesday, it is a paid pass, but this way you can get lifetime access to all the speaker sessions, and you'll get additional bonuses from many of our speakers as well. For example, I know that Don from AccrueMe, only for the all access pass members, you guys have something special. Do you want to take a second to talk about that?
Sure. Anybody that applies, we give an extra $500. You don't owe us. You don't. It's just yours to help you build your business.
Excellent. That's $500, guys. I mean, that covers the cost of the All Access Pass. So I think if you are considering that, that's a no-brainer. Definitely check that out, guys. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Tim says this was awesome. I appreciate all your knowledge, and thank you, Seven Figure Seller Summit, for setting this up. Thank you,
That's
Tim.
great.
You're very welcome. And Belle says, thank you, so informative as usual. Much appreciated, Belle. Thanks for coming on. Hopefully this was helpful to you guys to help your business profitability so you can keep more money in your pockets. So I'd like to just thank everyone for coming on, and thank you, Zen, thank you, Chelsea, thank you, Yoni, thank you, Norm, and thank you, Don, for taking time out, and super appreciate it. Wish you guys a great Q4 coming up, and we will see you guys at the next session. Bye, everyone.
Thank you,
Bye,
guys.
Barry.
Bye now.
Thank you.